We all know about the Jordans, the Magics, and the LeBrons. But what about the guys who quietly built the league without any media hype? These are the most underrated players in NBA history. Guys who put up Hall of Fame numbers, revolutionized positions, and dominated entire eras, all without getting the recognition they deserved. Let's start with the man who outscored every single player in the 1980s. Not Kareem, not Bird, not Magic, not even Michael Jordan. Alex English. The Denver Nuggets legend scored more points than anyone else during that entire decade, and most fans today couldn't even tell you what position he played. He was a sleek 6'7" forward who averaged over 23 points for 9 straight seasons and became the first player ever to string together 8 consecutive 2,000-point seasons. Nobody in league history has matched that. He led Denver to 9 straight playoff appearances, made 8 All-Star games, won a scoring title, and retired as the 7th leading scorer in NBA history. So why don't people talk about him? Denver was a small market, and English kept a low profile while Magic and Bird were becoming national celebrities. His number 2 jersey hangs in the rafters in Denver, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But bring up Alex English in most basketball conversations and you'll get blank stares. That's criminal. Now let's talk about a guy whose teacher once accused him of cheating because he was too smart. Adrien Dantley scored a 99 on a history test in 9th grade, and nobody else scored above 80. His teacher, legendary coach Morgan Wooten, made him stand up and answer questions in front of the entire class. Dantley got every single one right. That same relentless brilliance carried on to the basketball court. He retired as the 9th leading scorer in NBA history with over 23,000 points, averaged 30-plus points per game for 4 straight seasons, and maintained a true shooting percentage above 62% during that stretch, something no other player in history had ever done consecutively. His career scoring average of 24.3 points per game ranks among the best ever. And yet, when the NBA released its list of the 50 greatest players in 1996, Dantley's name wasn't on it. To make it worse, Detroit traded him 4 months before they won the first of back-to-back championships. The man was an offensive machine who got erased from history. Speaking of players who deserved more, let's talk about Sidney Moncrief. He won the inaugural NBA Defensive Player of the Year award and then turned around and won it again the following year. He remains the only guard in history to win that award twice. But here's the thing about Moncrief. He wasn't just a defensive specialist. He averaged over 20 points in all 5 of his All-Star seasons, earning All-NBA and All-Defensive First-Team honors multiple times as a two-way destroyer for the Milwaukee Bucks. The reason he faded from memory? Knee injuries cut his prime short after 1986, and Milwaukee never broke through for a championship. It took until 2019 for the Basketball Hall of Fame to finally induct him. 3 decades of being overlooked for one of the most complete guard careers the league has ever seen. Then there's Mark Price, the Cleveland Cavaliers point guard who quietly revolutionized the sport. John Stockton, one of the greatest point guards ever, described Price this way: "That guy defended like a bobcat. He's one of the best guards I ever played against." Isaiah Thomas put it even simpler: "Mark Price killed me." Price was drafted in the 2nd round, and Dallas traded him to Cleveland on draft day without much fanfare. Nobody expected much, but he became a 4-time All-Star, joined the exclusive 50-40-90 club, and still holds the all-time record for career free throw percentage at 90.4%. In 1988 to 1989, he steered Cleveland to their best record in franchise history at 57 wins and 25 losses. His herky-jerky style and deadly shooting pioneered the point guard-centric offense that paved the way for Steve Nash, Stephen Curry, and the modern NBA. Price was the blueprint, and almost nobody gives him credit. The backup point guard sitting behind him in Cleveland, by the way, was a young Kevin Johnson, who went on to become an All-Star in Phoenix. Johnson later said he couldn't even be mad about not playing because Price was just that good. Now, Dennis Rodman. You might think he's properly rated because of the fame, the hair, the wedding dress, the reality TV. But strip all of that away and look at what he actually did on a basketball court. He stood 6'6" and became one of the greatest rebounders the sport has ever produced, leading the league in rebounding for 7 consecutive seasons. He grabbed 34 boards in a single game. There were 7 different instances where he pulled down over 20 rebounds while scoring 0 points, including one game where he attempted just 1 shot and still collected 25 boards. 5 championships, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 7 All-Defensive First-Team selections, and somehow he was only a 2-time All-Star. The spectacle overshadowed the substance, and that might be the most underrated thing about Rodman. People remember the circus, but forget he was one of the most impactful players to ever lace them up. And finally, the biggest what-if in basketball history. Arvydas Sabonis was a 7'3" giant who passed like Magic Johnson, knocked down threes, and dominated underneath the basket, widely considered the best player outside the United States at his peak. Portland drafted him in 1986, but he didn't play his first NBA game until 1995. Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union, and the Soviets refused to let him leave. American politicians literally got involved trying to bring him over. By the time he finally arrived in Portland, he was 30 years old and had already suffered 2 Achilles tendon ruptures. 2. And he still averaged 12 points and over 7 rebounds as a rookie at age 30. Imagine what he would have done at 22 with healthy legs. Sabonis was the direct precursor to modern all-around big men like Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. And his son, Domantas, is an NBA All-Star today, carrying that legacy forward. Here's the thread that connects all of these guys. Being underrated isn't about a lack of talent. It's about perception. Small markets, bad timing, playing behind the Iron Curtain, getting traded 4 months before a championship, having your prime carved up by injuries. The NBA remembers its champions and its loudest personalities, but the guys who quietly put up historic numbers in Milwaukee, Denver, Cleveland, and Portland, they get forgotten. Production doesn't lie though, even when the narrative does. So the next time someone asks you who the greatest players of all time are, don't just rattle off the usual names. Remember the ones who built the league from the shadows.